Looks like it's on. Excellent. Howdy, folks. I'm Cody with IronVerse Comics, and we're doing another coffee. Cody and Comics. Got my coffee. Very old coffee. Oh, what's my visited chat? Ah, ready to display messages. That's what I want to see. Excellent. Super helpful information. Thank you, robots. They always take such good care of me. Ah, we got a heavy one today, but I'm in the mood for a heavy one, so it works out. Ah, it's a big one too. But again, it's the right one. So I'm gonna give it a couple, just in case anybody wants to say howdy. Then I'll get into it. But hope your weekend goes well. Can't answer mine yet. I hope your week went well. That I can talk about. Mine did not go that well. It wasn't terrible, but it's been trying. It's been trying. Last time I saw you folks, you might have noticed. uh, but better today. Still hoping this coffee kicks in because one of the issues has been sleep. It's been, God, a month and a half of terrible sleep. So, yeah. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna boost the mic on my end just a little bit. That way I don't have to worry so much about the stream playlist so much. What do we got here? A little too beat boopy for me today. This is the same. Why are you giving me the beat boopy stuff? Yeah. Yeah, let's go with the chilly, chill stuff. We'll hype up the energy when it's important too. There can't be a point it's important too, because again, it's some heavy stuff. But again, I need the refresher, and this channel is one of the tools I have. And utilizing the tools you have is, I mean, all you can do most of the time. To hope the coffee kicks in soon. Come on, caffeine. Get me good enough to hobble along for a while. Not terrible today, even though it's really old coffee. Oh, I guess I can do that. Ugh. Yeah, it was free. You're welcome. No, excuse me, folks. Let's see. Ooh, what we got next? Just keeping the energy kind of neutral. I can deal with that. You get a kitten, you start hearing a lot of sounds in the next room. Let's just say, as long as it sounds all right, I ain't gonna worry about it. What I need is just one from me so I can find me through this other. There we go. Yeah, I'll share this with you folks because I fucking love this image. That's a chicken right there. This is Hey Hey before Hey Hey was a thing. Ah, there's the kitten. What you doing, miss? That's a chicken. Let me find. I'm just gonna boost the promotional stuff on this here live stream. That's a little too much. Skip track? Oh, the robots are taking care of me today. Thank you, VoiceBot. Yeah, so that is way it's way better. Ooh, it's got a groove. They do love me. There's not gonna be much coffee before I start talking. Alright, I'll work with that. So got a good set of headphones too. It's one of the many pleasures in life is damn fine music. Haven't heard this track before either. Good stuff. Okay. Ooh. Oh, it's a good one. Almost, folks. Almost. I promise. We'll get to the point soon enough. Got one more place to promote that I'm here, because we're gonna talk. It'll all come together, I promise. The track keeps evolving. That's so good. Okay. Why am I here? I'm tired, that's why. Well, what's this? Oh, never open. Let me get that open. I don't know, it does it for the coffee. Got maybe 2 more sips out of it, but that's about it. Alright. Everything's up. Okay. Once this track finishes, because it's so damn groovy, we'll get into it. Again, it's a heavy one. I hope folks will listen. There's a lot. There's a lot. So. Oh, it goes to the fade out. Oh, it's so good. All right, let's hear what this next track is. It's probably not on point, but you never know. Gods of Chaos. Let's see what comes on out. Give me something on point. Ooh. Ooh. Not so much on point. A little heavy. We'll get there. Still good though. Still good though. Oh, there we go. There you go. Alright, I can work with that. I can work with some fretless bass. I'm happy with that. Ooh, it's shakers? Are you kidding me? Alright. Let's get into this. So, folks, today's subject. Why am I here? It's a big one. It's a big one. I think we continuously answer that every day, right? Every minute, every moment, every second, every thought, every breath. But in general, it's so groovy. I gotta turn it down. It's probably a little distracting. Oh, I love me that fretless bass, but it's a little distracting. Ouch, hurts me having to turn that off. But for now, the track's just like so chipper and up that it takes a lot of the gravitas away. Sadly, so groovy. Um, there's a reason I did that big one. It's a 3-word sentence that people grapple with their entire lives. Even if they find an answer, they honestly, if they're of any sort of intelligence, uh, they will never be 100% sure with the answer. They will find the path, and they'll be sure on the path, right? But you know, you can't know the end of the path till you walk it, because we're all walking a new path. It's something that hasn't been done before, right? So the why am I here? Um, as it relates to the work, why I'm here on this channel, why I have a presence in the comic book world. And I say a presence, I'm not going to say I have different people have different definitions of success or of reach or of connection. There's a lot of different ways to define and critique and put metrics upon your work, and been very blessed that I've done better than some and worse than others, right? That's pretty much where everyone comes from. Um, I mean, there's somebody usually at the top of the mountain, but you know, they got there for a reason, and they have probably a much different perspective from up top there than we do on them from down, right? So try not to waste time guessing at that perspective or lamenting that it's not the perspective I have or uh, uh, any of that, right? The point of this work, the point of why I am here is there's, and this is the heavy part. There's a no, I even have a hard time spitting it out. There's a battle to be fought, and I don't mean, yeah, it's the closest metaphor to it, right? Because I don't think this opposition is really what you could define. Most people would think of if I use the word opposition, opponent. It's not a rivalry thing. It's it's really hard for me to choke this out because basically if I don't lay it on the line, um, how do I choke this out without another way to put it that I think I prefer is there's growth to be had. Significant growth, important growth. Um, and there are many obstacles in the path of that growth, and I don't mean for my work, or for your work, or for uh, some successful person's work, right? Like that's not the growth I'm talking about. It's not the obstacles I'm talking about. It's nothing less than, you know what? When I was thinking of this, I want to phrase it correctly, and someone else said it much better than I. So let me dig that up real quick. But it's been said, and I'm not the only one in that arena. There are many. Many of you folks who watch this channel are in that arena, in a different way, perhaps, but you're in that arena. So let me find how it's presented, because I can sum it up, but if I don't say it correctly, I'm gonna waste your and my time. It's tough, but it'll help sum up my footing here. Again, why I'm here. That's the answer. So let me find this. It's kind of far back, but that's all right. Again, this I always tend to forget. It would be great to have a greater reach and a greater pull, but a lot of these tools that I have, the point of them is to help myself to do the work I need to do. Well, thank you, VoiceBot. I appreciate you're willing to help. I don't know what you heard that asked for your input, but I appreciate it. You folks are I'm very grateful for my robot companions here. Let's see. Still digging. Oh, there's a couple. You know what? We're gonna utilize all of those, because there's basically all of these sum up together. But there's one in particular. It's a relatively controversial figures statement, but I don't really care, because it's a it's a truth to me, and I think it'll help explain my footing here and how I approach everything, both to myself, again, as a tool for me. I appreciate you folks listening and watching, but it's a tool for me. Oh, almost there, folks. Sorry, it's buried deep within my bookmarks. Oh man, there's so many good ones, but I'm looking for one specific one that's phrased properly. There's a lot about surviving the path, but why you're on the path. It's this right here. Okay, let's let it load. I'm gonna show you, folks. I'll just read it. So, the artist's task is to save the soul of mankind, and anything less is a dithering while Rome burns. If artists cannot find the way, then the way cannot be found. Artists are those brave enough to... I've said this before. An artist looks upon the world and decides not to conquer it. To me, what that meant and why it resonated with me, why I remember it, both what I just said, which is something I kind of cobbled together, and then the quote from Terence McKenna that I said about the artist's task. It goes with a quote from One Piece as well, where Luffy's explaining he doesn't want to conquer anything, he just seeks freedom. It's the fact that the artist, the creator, the one who looks upon the world in its entirety, the struggle, the strife, the demands placed upon them, and decides not to react in violence or anger or try to gain power and overwhelming force in order to control it. They're brave enough to speak to it. And that's why I'm here. It's why I do my work. The growth, as I'm going to rephrase it, but it's hard not to see it as a battle. that is placed upon us all from cradle to grave here is within. Uh, the outside battles are unbelievably important. They are exceedingly demanding, and there are many things outside of us that honestly live within us. Our family, our friends, our pets, our history, our memories, our traumas. Uh, these are the opportunities for growth, or as you can also see them, and some people it works much better to see them as the battles to be um, won, or the growth to be had. And I see that every day from all of us, in each of our own ways. Some are very similar, some are very different. Uh, but that's why I'm here. It's what my work's about. Um, and so I've struggled for since I coalesced the idea that's become what people have found resonance in. Um, but that's why I'm here. Um, there are great battles to be fought within, and there are great battles to be fought without. You could say it another way. There's great growth to be had within. There's great growth to be had without. Again, it's different perspectives from different people, and different people will resonate with it differently. I'm using the term battle because it is a struggle that tends to bring wounds in its process. Not so much that many would see it more as like it's power that needs to be gained in order to push things out of the way, which can manifest in many different ways. That's not what I mean from my perspective, but it is an equally valid interpretation of what I'm saying. Um, but that's why I'm here. If you don't see that within my work, uh, then that's okay. I hope you enjoy it anyway. But that's why I'm here. It's what I found in many other works. Is that simple acknowledgement in the most creative and imaginative ways out there that we're not alone in this great process. Um, but fact of the matter is, within this sphere that I do my work in, that we call comics, that I'm going to call comics, which includes any form of sequential art, cartooning, all of these different forms of relating a message through uh, 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 sequential pieces of imagery and words, through visual poetry, right? Um, the over the years, I've seen many people who want to fight the battle, and I'm going to very specifically use that term. They aren't looking to grow outside of the need for that fight anymore. They want to end it. They want it smashed. And from what I've seen, and this is on a lot of sides. Um, what I've seen is that does nothing but perpetuate itself. It is a circle that you are locked in that may ebb and flow. It may be profitable to some, but it is a. I can't say it's a waste of time. Different people will get different things out of these processes. For me, it's an absolute waste of time. Uh, I can speak for myself. Those things are a waste of fucking time to me. And I've spent years dealing and learning and interacting and being blessed to meet people who are from that perspective. Um, and I've interacted with these folks, and I have done my best every interaction to dig my heels in where I felt it was necessary. Um, There's been many times where others would have dug their heels in, and I will not, because it's not necessary. Then it's not. There's no point in it. Some of those will be on labels. Some of those will be on groupings. Some of those will be on uh, uh, interpersonal interactions, right? Um, but choosing that path for me has been extraordinarily helpful for my own personal growth and for the space in which my work must exist. Uh, the One of the obstacles that those choices have given me is honestly, it's not a popular position. Uh, if you are opposing both sides because of the hypocrisy built within, then you stand alone. Now, you don't stand alone. Figuratively, you stand alone. Um, and I'm fine with that. I've always stood alone. I'm fine with that. It's just I've been trying to get to grips with a lot of things to do with this work because there are things I know about it and there are things I do not. And the things I know about it often bring quite a bit of sorrow. Um, there's some arrogance built into it, right? Too, because I feel like the quality and the message can do a lot of good, and that is arrogant. I have no idea, right? In the greater scheme of things, um, but it's one of my guidance. At least I'm staying on point. It's why I'm here. Um, it's why I struggle. It's why how many times I've been beaten around in my personal life as well as this work. And I've been very blessed that I haven't been kicked around like some other folks have. Simply because, again, I stand in the middle, so it doesn't look that great if you come at me. So most of the obstacles I find are the opposite. It's closed doors. That's what I find. I don't find someone standing in the path. I find a more circuitous route to where I need to go. Uh, and within that, I think that's basically what I'm trading there is I'm trading time. Man, is that a risky proposition when you're trying to do what I'm trying to do. Um, the best way to succeed in spreading a specific message or resonance is to do it quickly and very strongly. We've seen this many times. Think of any kind of viral anything, honestly. It's most effective throughout politics. We've seen it again and again. But because politics involves a lot of fear and a lot of emotion, anger, and this inbuilt history, all of these other resonances which boost its frequency and make it far more oppressive of a uh, existence to manage. Um, but it comes in a lot of different things. Um, but if you want to kick down those fucking walls, the best way is hard and quick to have something very deep to face the very wide and shallow obstacles in your way. Exceedingly wide. You're not likely going over, you're not likely going around, you're not likely going under. But if you have something strong, a lot of heart and a lot of persistence, you might go through. If you can do that quickly, if you can do that with a lot of power before um, opposition finds you, the more likely you will have stronger footing to face that opposition as it comes. But that's something I've traded for basically peace and to do it the right way, in my opinion. The right way hasn't been found yet. It takes patience, and it's a massive gamble. Not only is this work a gamble, um, but there are many facets within it that are gambles. Um, it's taking a bet within a bet, which it's dumb, but it's also super romantic and idealistic and fucking beautiful. And so I'm happy to do it. But at the end of the day, that's that's why I'm here. I don't know. By some metrics, I'm already a success. By issue 3, I had finished the first arc and I could have walked away. Many cases I should have walked away. The message had reached hundreds of people. That is incredible. That is, I don't know how many people who take it to heart. I don't know how many people understood what I was saying, but that's still a feat that many cannot uh, say they've been able to do. It's a beautiful gift upon my path. The fact that the last 2 times that I seeked the opportunity to speak and to allow my team to speak and to be supported by this completely unnecessary form of work, I guess is the best way I can put it. That my friends and our works, the people that the works reached, said, yeah, we need that. Twice. Sure, I was left hanging both times, but that's an important thing to recognize. Uh, and I am so grateful. I'm excited for folks to see this latest bit of work. Been a hard, long path to it. I don't think that'll change anytime soon. I don't think our work, with what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to say through this very goofy medium, um, I'm going to attract a difficult path. Particularly because many paths I could have chosen I could not have stomached. I've had to swallow my pride many times to do it. Uh, but that's part of the growth. It's part of why I do this work. It's because it it's a beautiful teacher. Uh, but I recognize places in which I could have thrown down and swallowed my pride and sold a bit of my soul to have spread the message further. I don't think that would have been correct, and that's why I didn't do it. But the fact of the matter is, it could have been better for the work and better for the message. So would the sacrifice of self have been worth it? I can never speak to it because I didn't fucking do it. But I've spoke many times on this channel about the importance of finding a quote unquote guiding star. that reason why you are here, why you do this work. Not everybody needs those, and they're going to come in many different forms for those who do. I've found the folks who I've chatted to where the guiding star is, I just want to have fun making comics. I found a harder time resonating with those people because I am a very stiff and very serious individual. Um, every part of my path has taught me to respect it. Every time I have not, in one form or another, I've been slapped very hard. Not hard enough to finalize anything, but hard enough to take a step back and instead of facing that with anger or with some form of like, why me, right? That ain't gonna help nobody. That's another reason why I'm here. I want to leave this place better than I found it. I see no other reason to have gone through this, and I mean all of it. Again, cradle to grave. I see no other point to this manifestation, this path through time, but to serve myself, of course, but the greater mechanism in which I find myself. I've done that many times. I've been a caretaker my whole life in one form or another. I've been a bad caretaker in a lot of cases. A lot of cases, but I cannot deny that that role has found me continuously. And I've been learning about what that means continuously. And the point of this, right? Uh, howdy, howdy, everybody. Um, Sorry if I don't say howdy. This again, if anybody's just dropping in, this is a more serious one. That's why there's no music right now. If I have time, we'll chill and more generally just kind of have fun. But I need this. I needed to remind myself while I'm in a better mood, while I can understand things a bit better, with a clearer perspective. I need to place it down. I need to perform the ritual in which will encode it a little bit stronger and will revitalize the spark that often dwindles with hardship. Um, and so, anywho, welcome, Mr. Smelling. Welcome, Delicate Art. Delicate Art says making comics is a kind of magic. I absolutely agree, but it can also be lonely. You're doing great. Well, thank you so very much. You're doing great as well. I love the joy you're able to put on page, Delicate Art, particularly because you are trying to express the patriarchal love and enjoyment in your work. I see that every piece, and it's a wonderful thing to see. Keep at it, please. I need to see more of it. Mr. Smelling, howdy, howdy. Keep you feel better. Thank you for stopping by as always, brother. I really appreciate it. I hope your work continues to go well. I hope this secret project I've been hearing about that you collaborate goes well. Love your art, brother. Thank you for stopping by. It's okay to just speak your mind. Well, thank you, Delicate. Howdy, Neostar. Welcome, welcome. But that's why the fuck I'm here. I like phrasing it as a battle because you seem noble and just, and you're facing the dragon, right? You're standing before this thing and pushing it. It's not that. I spoke about that earlier. It's growth. It's more the vine growing around the tree, or the seed growing in the sidewalk, right? Cracking that and coming through, more than it's a fight. And I think if you see it as a fight too much, then you end up like the folks I cannot stand in this medium. There are so many people who have closed themselves off to imagination, to wonder, to the pure glory of the entirety of the thing. Uh, and those people, God, I appreciate them. I love them, but I don't like them. I've had many conversations with those kinds of people, and the ones who have stuck around and have continued to help me on all kinds of different fronts. are those who share at least a piece of the imagination in which I do. Uh, and that's part of my work as well, is finding those people and making sure they, as best of my ability, they have some slightly better footing, even if I'm tangential to it, right? The fact of the matter is, it's my duty to lend my energy as best I can to those efforts. Uh, and that's part of why I'm here as well. The message I have to say within the work is being said by many others in many different ways, and has been said by many others over time for forever, because it's a very, very, very old cycle of growth. Um, I mean, it's a fucking speck compared to the entirety, but to us, and particularly to an individual human being, it is very ancient. um, Howdy, Submarine, Treehouse. Howdy, Solid Halon. Um, Howdy, Mr. Schmeling. Howdy, Neostar. Uh, you're very welcome, Delicate. But it's true, I do. I don't always. When I notice work I appreciate, I do my best again to support it in small ways. But that's you do what you can do. Um, but yeah, that's the bit. That's why the fuck I'm here. And so it's an odd one. I'm exceedingly critical of the people I enjoy and of their work in terms of craftsmanship I can notice within the work because of that. I want you to be strong. I want you to grow. I want you to be a pillar from which others can grow. Uh, and not a platform in which there's this symbiotic but also parasitic relationship. And I've seen that so much within comics. So much. Some folks are able to leverage the parasitic relationships into something greater for their work, and all the power to them. But that doesn't change the fact that those parasitic relationships are, in general, not great. Um, it really isn't. I've seen it again and again. I've seen people be burnt by them again and again, and yet there they are again, back in the same place with the same people that will continue to burn them because maybe that's all they know, maybe because part of the message they have, they really resonate with it, so they can do no wrong because that message is still being spoke. I don't know. I don't resonate with that, so it's hard for me to speak to it. But I want to provide and help provide a space within this entirety in which the most amount of positivity, of growth, of camaraderie, of appreciation, and of craftsmanship can be applied to a medium in which respect, both of itself and of each other and of the work, is in short supply. And I don't like saying that, because I know the amount of passion, the amount of sacrifice that goes into this work. I know very well. Uh, but the darkness within the human soul that needs to be recognized, it needs to be humored so that it does not resent its existence, but it does not need to be the front of what we are. And you look throughout history, you look throughout power structures, it's an inevitability within power to manifest that harsher end of existence. And I even in something as goofy and as small and as relatively inconsequential to the grand scheme and unfolding of existence as comics. But at the end of the day, it's still a very important front in which to make your stand. And I want to stand alongside as many people as possible. I would like as many people as possible to feel they can stand. This greater growing pains that the the zeitgeist is working through will be very difficult for us all. And if there's a tiny pinch of magic to be found in comics, it's in alleviating that pain. Uh, and that's why I'm here. Some will do it by just making fun and having fun, and great. When it comes at the cost of other people, I'm not so happy about it. But that's not where I'm gonna stand. And if I'm standing against it, then I am standing with it in that case, and I can't have that. It's one of those cases where it's inevitable hypocrisy. And I've seen it since I started in this, where I just wanted to make art. I just have something to say and something to share. And I come into the space and I see that that's not where a lot of people are coming from. Of course, our system in which it demands it's a survival of the fittest system, both from the natural level to the financial level, right? Uh, and fitness is often manifested within power, which again, as we were speaking, it manifests often in cruelty uh, and fear. That's the funny thing. The more powerful you are, usually the more fearful you are of losing it, and therefore, in general, more fearful. And then fear leads to cruelty. But it's one of those things, and so I respect people fighting against that, but at the same time, you're you're fighting alongside it. That's what it is. It's what it wants. So it's very difficult for me to respect that. I can appreciate it. Um, I can love the individuals who are doing it, but I can't respect it. I can't enjoy it. I can't participate in it. It's there's not enough time in my fleeting. I have a limited number of breaths upon this sphere. How many I expend on that depends on if I determine that that lesson or that stance needs to be made. It does not. It's a waste of time for me. For others, maybe it's not. But for me, yeah, it's a complete waste of time. And I spent most of my comics career in terms of networking, dealing with people that fight is pivotal to. That cycle justifies so much for them. And I've tried my best every time to remind them that it's not the only perspective. Some people, it's been a pleasure speaking to, and I know that that's not all they're there for, and that means the world to me. Some it's not the case, and it's heartbreaking in its way, but it's a teacher and one I'm very grateful for, and it allows me to save my time, right? Um, but that's why I'm here. Um, I don't know. There are even people I really love and respect and have worked with for a long time whose goals and mine, as I keep going forward, I realize they don't align. Not because we don't seek the same thing, but the paths in which we want to get there are different, and perhaps they have more tangential goals than I do. They have more stops along the way they would like to hit than I. Some people want they want a Disney. They want to be a Disney, and some people, like myself, simply want to speak.
Here to serve.
I don't know what it heard. Maestro, I don't know where I heard that.
Here to serve.
Oh, it's groovy. I don't know why you heard it, but okay. Maestro, put that back on. I want some
Here to
groove.
serve.
You decided. Ah, so groovy. Alright, let me check on here. Let me check. Oh, I am a nerd. Sup, Dr. Princess Nerd. Howdy, Halon. Okay, it's tough, but we gotta keep walking the path. Absolutely. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the small death that brings about absolute disaster. Again, this growth, as I prefer to say it, but this battle that I'm talking about this whole stream has been fought by many. Frank Herbert is one of them. Battling fear can be so hard, especially social media. Yes, social media is a big one. The internet in general, our instant connection to each other was a hell of a Pandora's box. But so far, I think it's brought about less evil than good. It's liberated knowledge, which is one of the most incredible things we could have done for each other and for the potential of mankind. And social media is one of those manifestations of knowledge. Knowledge is not an easy thing to carry, however. And so that's a big one with social media. It's how I survived it so well, as I understand it. It's not an easy thing to carry, so don't make it harder on yourself by dealing with things that you don't need to deal with, because in the grand scheme, it is very inconsequential. Especially if you're trying to do something that is consequential, something that matters, something that can affect the greater path in which we're walking down together. But yeah, folks, that's why I'm here. That's what this is all about. Some are here to make money, doing something they enjoy, right? Something they love. Some are here just to make money, and they think that it's an easy path. Some are here to have fun and just enjoy that. Some are here to defeat a great enemy, one way or another. Some are here to... some are here just to say something at the end of the day, and I fall into that camp. I would love to see great success and the message heard many other places, but if it's heard by one, then I have done my job. And it has been heard by at least one. So I've done my job. But there's more work to be done. There's always more work to be done, and that's why there's not enough time. And that's why it's so frustrating. It's endlessly frustrating for me, because I have the tools and ability to get things done up to a point, and then the rest of them are basically making the space for reality to let it happen. And I've been very blessed to be able to do that 4 times, or 3 times, or 4 times in a way. And I'd like to do it many more times, 2 more times in particular. 1 more time if that's how it needs to be. But I could do so much more. I just don't know how. With the path I need to walk, the way I know a few other ways I could have. And sometimes I lament not biting my tongue, or not again swallowing my pride and taking a small chunk of the soul, bartering it. But at the same time, I have no idea how much I regret doing so. Particularly if that effort did not actually bear fruit. And I've seen those efforts not bear fruit many times, and it breaks my heart for some of those people. Because at the end of the day, if even that's not enough for them, that's that is a tragedy, right? It's one of those, you gave everything and it still wasn't good enough. It's one of the greatest tragedies out there. And again, I've seen it again and again. Hi, Miss Nami. Oh, I'll put you back down, but I want you to say hi. There's your Nami. That's Namago. She came right when my family needed her. And that's the thing with my path. It's oh man, does it like to stretch out lessons to make sure I know them and it doesn't have to teach me them again. Best way to put it. It really is. But it also likes to remind me when I've made the correct choices, even when they're difficult. That's one of them. I've had a hard time these last few years. I've had a very difficult time. But, you know, I'm still standing. I'm still doing the work I love. I'm still here because I know why I'm here, but also because I listen. If I have one skill, it's that. I listen. Listening is not just hearing. Listening is taking it in and understanding it, and it's not just an audio sensation. It's a visual sensation. It is a feeling. It's a pulse. And I tend to believe, and a lot of this is faith and belief, right? And people find it in different ways.
Faith is eternal.
Isn't it, VoiceBot? The funk. The funk.
Faith is eternal.
All right, heard you twice. Little bits of chaos. Listening to the little bits of chaos. That's the bit, man. That's the whole reason I've gotten this far. You listen to the little bits of chaos that are fucking incredibly, like, sometimes it's synchronicities, right? Like that just was. It's supposed to trigger when I say the funk.
Faith is eternal.
The funk.
Faith is eternal.
I did not say that. I said something completely different. But the space that is open within utilizing voice commands within a stream and within AI's limited comprehension allowed that synchronicity to happen. Stupid, I know, but that's one of the ways you can listen. There are many other manifestations of that. Many. But that was an example which was so apt. It's why I've worked quite a bit within divination since I was a teenager. And I have formulated two ways I've used for quite some time, and people think of it in different ways. Some it is complete blasphemy, right? You're not supposed to know the future. It's not part of the plan. I disagree. If it can happen within the plan, it's part of the plan. But even if it is awful, but for me, it's like you're at the base of a mountain and you're looking at the top. For me, divination is imagining what the perspective is from the top. Is it going to be accurate? Probably. But it is a great practice for your mind. And that's what it is for me. And when it synchronizes with events that actually manifest along that path, then perhaps that imagination is something a little bit greater. And I've had many encounters with different sorts of phenomenon that have led me to these types of beliefs. Different people will have their own experiences with that, but or without it, right? But it's all part of that bit. Even my work has manifested that. It's been one of them in particular super heartbreaking. Because I fucking knew it when I put it down, but it's one of those things you kind of put in your subconscious because you're like, probably not. It even told me and did it in a more general, less personally affecting way with issue 2. And then issue 3, it's like it's right there on the page. And when I started down this path, I was told that those things happen. And there's a certain beauty to it, but it's a tragic beauty in my case, because what manifests in my work gives it this beautiful energy, but it is such a tragic energy. I also think it's an important one. God, okay, we're gonna get into the crazy shit. Okay, now the coffee's terrible. So here's the crazy shit. Issue number 1. So Jack Iron Steel Cowboy, my original writing of it was from when I was about 15 or 16. It was to compensate and to explore the imaginative potential so I can come to some grips or some sort of peace with our collective. There's so many words that apply to it. God, there's so many words that apply to it. But I want to pick the most apt one. God, the most apt one is just not going to communicate it very well to anybody but me. But our collective works. The things we have done. From Jump Street, right? From however you wish to see our inception. The Christians would call it original sin as one of the manifestations of it, but in places all the blame on it. There's a lot of problems with that, but that's one of the places. That's one of the most recognizable. But our collective works as a young man coming to know our potential and what we could be, and instead where I found myself. That was a tough one for me because I also have difficulty not only not internalizing that which was before me, but also my own mistakes and how they resonate with that, and how that is, again, how there is much room for growth, to put it politely, for us. But that was the spark of this work. I had written issue 1 long before. In fact, I don't think I rewrote issue 1. Goddamn, this is why I do these things. I don't think I've connected it with issue 2 and 3, but I don't think I ever really connected with issue 1. All 3 have been prophetic. I thought issue number 1 kind of was after, because it actually manifested in line art and all of that afterwards. But it didn't. The script was far before it. So, when I claim they're prophetic, stupid, right? That's the craziness of this. And if you folks can bear with me, and you have so far, crazy bastards, bear with me. It predicted an inevitability. Issue 2 did not predict an inevitability. It predicted something that should not have happened. Issue 3 also predicted inevitability, but within the time frame of which it manifests, it's a little tough. Issue 1, I guess my scripting of it predicted my mother's passing. And then her passing allowed it to manifest in this world as a physical object and for its words to go places. And to allow issue 2 to happen. Issue 2 predicted the shift we've all seen since 2018, 2019. 2019 in particular. You could say it was a good guess, but it was a little too much apt of a guess. I believe it's page 12, issue 2. Issue 3 was printed and in my hands and was to be shared with my father. But we never found the time to share it before he passed, which his passing was in that issue, or at least a father's passing was in that issue. So issue number 4 has other things within it. It's more along the lines of issue 2, so I'm very hopeful that the prophetic end of this work ended with the first trilogy, and I can just get to the it can simply speak instead of also having to teach me, but that might be a little arrogant of me. Oh, I wish. I don't think it's that kind of thing, Eliza Barr. I could explain it, but it's probably very dumb. You're a highly intelligent individual, and so applying so much faith, or to put it more closer, belief to how the mechanisms in which existence operates might be insulting, because it might be stupid. Right, but for me, time is not so linear in terms of it unfolding it unfolds in one dimension, right? In fact, unfolds on how I've structured it, and it is probably not proper, is the fourth dimension is time. It's the one that encapsulates the other three. The third being this physical, the material, the second being the spiritual, and the first being the impetus of creation. You can call it the Big Bang, right? The force, if you want to go Star Wars, I guess. But within that, there are levels above the fourth, and within those levels, the fourth already has done its job. And so I find synchronicities, I find these manifestations in my work that I've recognized to operate on those levels above. And so those levels I can't even name. They're too far outside my ken. But I can respect them, and I can respect the manifestation that they allow within the fourth, and within the third, the second, the first. Can't understand. And part of my belief is that these manifestations are teachers or lessons, they're road marks. They're not things I made happen so much as I facilitated and need to learn from. So I can't do that. I did change the subject matter in issue 4. My goal with issue number 4 was to be less some of it less prophetic. I don't need more. rather the world go a different way than what my story's trying to say. I would significantly rather do that. But I'm going to do what I need to do. So we'll see. Issue 4, I think, is more enjoyable. It's facing a lot of things and trying to... People are going to hate me, but it should subvert... Every encounter within it should subvert the expectations of what the general storytelling of those kind of encounters, specifically within comics, would be. That's the bit, right? So we'll see. I'm hopeful, right? Like, part of it is facing, like, the first 3 issues. It's a lot of, like, here's this oppression, here's this systemic bullshit that we all operate within. 4 is more like, okay, you see it, we all live within it, how do you face it? And I don't mean defeat it, I mean face it. That simple, and that's issue 4. Issue 5 is an attempt to defeat it, but issue 4 is simply looking it in the face and staring in its eyes and trying your best to understand it so that you can hopefully grow outside of it. Just not have it part of your path. But if that doesn't work, you got to face it, and that's issue 5, which is... I'm so grateful it's coming together, because issue number 5 is my most intimidating issue. Like 6, I know how to do. 6 is gonna be no problem. 5, it requires such respect and tact to do the job that it needs to, that I am very scared of it. But it's super important. Kentaro Miura spent his entire comic career doing what I'm going to do in issue 5. Like, I'm going to scratch that surface. If you really want to know what I'm doing in issue 5, like, you'll have to consume the entirety of Berserk and resonate with what he was trying to say. I'm trying to cram that into 32 pages. It's going to be rough. It's going to be fucking rough. But if I can even come close to what it needs to do, then right on. So yeah, but issue 4 should be a bit more breathing and hopefully uplifting than issue 5 should be super uplifting if I nail it. But if, I gotta nail it. And I gotta be able to fund it, be able to get it out the door. And right now that's number 4. And it's got its own troubles, but each day I gotta work on that. But yeah, 5's coming together. I have the structure, which I was worried I couldn't even figure out the structure in which I could say these things. But I figured it out. I'm very proud of myself for that. But now I need to pick the notes in which I need to hit and the order in which they need to be hit. And then I have to play them very well. Right? So we'll get there. But yeah, number 4 should be a little bit easier on that level. Eliza Bar, if nothing else. Yo, Delicate. Hope you're doing better. I hope you are as well. I didn't know you weren't doing very well, Delicate. The leader of the bear army is here. Bro, I'm having internet issues. Well, that's no good. The bear's my... Yeah, honestly, there's a lot of spirit animals. But the bear's the one that I was born into. I'm named after the Kodiak bear. Throughout my life, I've been gifted sigils and charms and resonances with that very wonderful and powerful creature. So I'm always happy to have a bear fan in the chat. But yeah, that's all of this is why I'm here, and I've come across so many creators who I cannot vibe with not because our goals are opposing. They're not. It's just they're not the same. They're not the same at all. And even some of the folks I work with, and I said that earlier, it's wonderful people from like the soul level, but the growth they want and the growth I want are not the same path. Mine could lead to that path, but it's tangential, absolutely tangential to what I need to do. Whereas that's like what they want to do, and I'm trying to come to terms with that. At the same time, honoring and respecting the meeting and the fellowship and the work that's been able to be done on my end because of those relationships, and that's been a struggle for years now. But I'm happy to do it. I think it's just another lesson along the path, but eventually those paths will diverge. I can't, unless I can make them understand what I want to do and they agree with it. Those paths will diverge in time, but I want to do right by it as long as it needs to happen. Oh, good. This is the one without vocals. It's a great song, by the way, from Persona 5. I think it's Rivers in the Desert that we're listening to right now. It's really good with lyrics, but that would have been super distracting right now. So that's bad. There's a storm passing south. Power's down. You're at a mall. Oh, man. Well, I hope that, storms pass. I just hope everything goes well for you, Halon. That sucks. Well, welcome. Thank you for spending this time here, of all places. God damn. With my rambling, my insanity, as I'm sure many would think, particularly when I'm talking about prophetic shit. Like, even I think that's a little nutty, but I've walked this path myself, so to be fair, I can think it's nutty from other perspectives, but I can't deny it from my own. So it's how it goes. And it's the world I chose to engage with when I was very young. I knew there was other ways to engage with the fabric. I found myself that the ways which we're expected to engage in it. Some of those ways we're expected to are important, and they're good, and they are right, and they are respecting, and they are respectable, and they are loving and caring. But many other ways are not. And so when I saw those bits when I was young, I kind of was, I had to nope out. It helped that both my parents also noped out in their own way, too. Each did it very differently. One simply noped out and just took control of their own paths. The other decided to control that path themselves. And then let go of it for something just not so beautiful. I was very blessed with the people I grew up with. And I'm blessed with the people I continue to grow with. Yeah, it's a trip. It's a trip, but that's why I'm here. I need to... This channel, right? There's ways to go about it in which, I'm not charismatic. I'm not outgoing. I'm not attractive. Magnetic, I guess, is a little bit better than attractive. I think I'm not that bad about it. I spent this entire stream talking about different points of it, but there are ways I'm willing to engage with these fabrics and ways I'm not. And so, this has always been a tool for me. Sometimes it's a frustrating one because you're like, well, I could do so much more if X, right? If I had more finances, do so much more if I did that, or I could do so much more if I had a larger audience, right? Like, well, duh. It's a waste of time worrying about that, and I could work towards it in the ways I've seen have been successful, but then I'm pretending. I am acting. And I've done so much of that in this career, but always to the point where, like, if I was taking a piece of my soul for it, always that was the line. It's like at some point, if it does not feel right, there's many times. Especially when I first came in, I was very naive, and I've always been anti-authoritarian and anti-system, and have full faith in the collective potential of mankind, not unrestrained, but personally restrained instead of systemically restrained. And that's been my bit, and I found resonances with some more aggressive positions within comics because they also don't wish to be restrained. There's some cases where they should be personally restrained, but that's just not who they are. And they would like to put all the oppression on the system without realizing that some sort of discipline is required, one way or another. And that's tough. It's tough. It's why the performances in which the rituals I have to go through to manifest this work is so draining to me. Even if it meets wonderful people or I have a great time, it takes everything every time. In the last 2 times, it's taken everything and then waited to the last minute to reward those efforts. And I listen to that. In some ways, it's a reminder that there's a better way, and I haven't found it yet. In other ways, it's a reminder that what you're doing doesn't have to be. Which is a grand wake-up call again. That's why I want to restructure the work I'm doing. But there's a certain level of completion I have to do with the work I am currently doing before I can move on to that. It has to do with those business relationships in one way, and they're also friendships. But it has to deal with being of a certain level of knowledge and experience before I can have any chance of doing this other work. And I get that now. I didn't get that when I was coming in. If folks listen to when I'm coming in, man, I was all ambition and I wouldn't say hope. It's more like, this is gonna happen. Surety, ambition and surety. And holy hell, the surety's still there. It's just less ambitious. In terms of the scale of which I wish to speak this message, but the message itself is terribly ambitious to begin with, and so that hasn't changed. Just simply understanding the craft better has allowed me to understand the path I need to walk better, and that's the experience part of it. And so I have a bit more to gain before I can do the work I need to do. It's not true. I've been doing more than it's before I take a step into a grander awakening, I guess is the best way to put it. And there's so many facets of that need to be wrangled, and I hope I can do it. But the ambition was insane. The point I see now, like you know what? It's good to come in with a mindset. It was a damn fine way to bust in through the door. But then once you're through the door, you actually see what's there. And if you don't adapt and grow, then you're gonna get kicked right back the fuck out that door. And so that's what I'm trying to do. Let me go through here. Oh wow, you've been saying a lot, Tyler. I'm so sorry. This is such an interesting stream. I'm loving the free flow a lot. That's all I know how to do. It's caused me many problems. But it's also, again, assured that I stay on straight and narrow I need to. It's interesting because you think all of us creators have different goals. Yes, I've seen that many times. It's been one of the lessons I've learned. And different ways we go about them to achieve them, but still find a way to live in the same house. Yes. But at some point, like you said, it might be inevitable that some of the roads diverge. Yes. Honestly, if the divergence can be done peacefully and respectfully, that's great. I've seen it sometimes completely ruins relationships, which is sad. And that's what I don't want to happen. I've had that option many times. In fact, issue number 3 was the last opportunity, and I keep going back and forth and kicking myself for not just taking the plunge after that, because what I could be doing now, again, this limited amount of time. But at the same time, I'm not just here to help myself. It's not what I'm here for. Like, that's part of it. The work is the reward, and it's the manifestation of those efforts, but it's not those efforts itself. It's part of it. The people I meet along the way are just as, if not more important than that. And so that's part of it. You're saying what I think a lot of other creators, including yourself, is saying, deepest part of ourselves. I hope so. I know, as I said, I'm going to quote that again, because it sums up why I'm here. And it's a quote from Terence McKenna, who is a very controversial individual, but nonetheless, he said what I want to say very eloquently, which is the artist's task is to save the soul of mankind. Anything less is a dithering while Rome burns. If artists cannot find the way, then the way cannot be found. And if the way can't be found, then I believe that the effort is still one of the greatest things we can do. As I said earlier, after that quote, I still believe that the artist is someone who looks upon eternity, upon reality, and decides not to conquer it. And I've seen many creators who do wish to conquer it, and that's not a terrible thing, but it's and I can't not call them artists, but I will say it is dithering while Rome burns. Right? It's in fact, I can say in many cases it's simply lighting more fires. And yeah, I wish that wouldn't happen, but that's not my job. My job here is to cut through those flames and get to the other side and show people that other side. The rest of it is, it's whatever it is. But that's why I'm here. It's a grand, arrogant, naive, impossible goal, but it is a hell of a guidance star. It is a hell of a ride, and it's one I'm grateful I've been blessed to go as far as I have on. Many have taken the same path and not have been as lucky. This one you'll get kicked around pretty good on, and some people get kicked too hard. But as long as I have a few more breaths in me, I've got work to do. That's the thing. So it's impossible for me to give up on that. 12:30, I have to leave in 15 minutes. It's disappointing, but I do. I have, and this is one of the bits, I did score a consistent Pet City gig, so I gotta go get those kiddos outside the house and such. Hopefully bridge the gap with one of those puppies. So I've got maybe 5 minutes if folks have any questions about this insanity that I just spewed for an hour and a half. I'm happy to answer them while I'm still here. I can do another 15 or another 10. Yeah, I can do another 10. Otherwise, I'll call it. But thank you folks for joining me, sticking with my insane ramblings. My point in any of this work, and it's why I needed to speak from the heart today, as John Talk was saying, all this is a reminder from me. Whether or not I succeed in what I'm doing, whether or not that's the big one, right? Because a lot of people, including myself, use the barometer of success to judge whether or not they are doing the right things, and that can be very flawed. And I have to remind myself that's very true. A lot of the work I'm doing has no barometer of success that I can see. That's the bit, right? Work I'm trying to do, I may never know if it succeeds. and I have to remind myself on that. And you know, if I'm stupid and I continuously fail, that's something to learn from and listen to. But I haven't failed so far. I've come very close many times, but I haven't so far. And that's a different lesson. And that's one that tells me to keep going. So I'm grateful for that lesson. I'm very grateful that the hard work does tend to pay off, because for some people it never does. And that is a grand tragedy, and it's one that I would like to continue to do my best to alleviate. There's space for us all. We all have something to say. We don't all need to be listened to, but we should all be able to say it. Even the really stupid stuff. That's the flames I wish to cut through. And those flames, I have no denial on whether or not they should exist. But they don't need to affect everybody. And you don't need to let them affect you, and you don't need to light them. And you know, be great if you don't, but I also understand that there is I make a post-apocalyptic, anti-systemic work. I understand indulging in darkness very well. But I also understand it's a tool, not a means in of itself and a goal in of itself. It is something to be recognized, understood, and utilized, not... I can't think of the word. Persisted, but that's not the word I want. Perpetrated isn't the word either. It's another P word. Perpetuated. Doesn't need to be perpetuated. That's the word that's looking for. And that's why I'm here. That was entirety of this. That's what this is about. And I hope you all. Some people have a harder time finding that, particularly when they're on the back foot. And so, find your guiding star. For me, it's what I've been laying out this whole stream. Find your guiding star and keep walking towards it. If you get kicked around real hard every time, maybe listen. Maybe that guiding star isn't the right one for you. But you need to have one, even if it's one just to get you through a certain part of your head, right? And when it's time to switch that guiding star. I spoke of that during mine, right? My original ambition, what I was looking for was in the same galaxy I was staring at, but it wasn't the same fucking planet, it wasn't the same star I was trying to head for. It wasn't as refined of a goal. And in a world so interconnected and inbuilt, it's a gigantic wall in front of you. I find a small, strong, deep stream of water, a consistent one, will cut through more than trying to hit it with a wall. It has to be a hell of a wave to knock that wall down. Most of those are, violent, exceedingly violent. We've seen that through history. The waves that knock those things down are usually exceedingly violent and simply are just become another fucking seed for the same shit. But you pierce through it and get to the other side, and you're building on the other side, sooner or later that wall becomes obsolete. And if more people recognize the wall's obsolete, suddenly the wall disappears. And we haven't done that many times in human history, but we have done it. Honestly, particularly in this country, but it's happened everywhere. And I believe in our collective ability to do that, but it's not something, it's not an easy one, and I don't know if that's what I'll see happen. But, again, part of my goal is to show that that's possible. limits of imagination are non-existent, and therefore the limits of potential are non-existent. And that potential can manifest in many different ways, but part of those ways is very positive and loving and growing and beautiful. And the other bit is very ugly and tragic and terrible. But, you know, you gotta have both. Alright, folks. Yeah, I should go. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for listening to these insane ramblings. If you have any questions, thoughts, whatever, always comments are there. You want to talk to me about whatever, please do. DMs on Twitter. These are the, like, where I'm always at. And comments is a great place here, too. I don't get many, so I'll see yours. Just even on comic creation in general, just on the mechanics of this. I know a little bit about every facet. I'm not an expert in it, but I know a little bit of every facet. Every facet I've worked very hard to. So if I can help you in some small way, at least get started on something you're struggling with, part of why I'm here is to do that. So please take advantage of me in the positive ways, because I've been taken advantage of in a very negative way in this space, and I've never forgotten that lesson, but I'm not going to let it destroy why I'm here. I almost did, but since I'm not doing this work alone, it was never going to happen. It brought me to that low point. It's like, fuck, if this can happen, if I'm creating this and it can be usurped and twisted and made into something ugly outside of my control because I let people in. That's a rough lesson. But it's also one that's like, yeah, you take your fucking bruises, you learn how to notice what the fuck's gonna hurt you, and you continue to open yourself, and you do better by yourself and others. Anywho, take care, folks. Appreciate you very much. Adios. Thought the mic was on over here. Adios, mi amigos. Va con Dios. And I will catch you next time. Thank you for spending your time. I hope you have a lovely weekend if I don't catch you again. And fucking A, please keep making comics. A lot of you are creators. But also, you know, keep engaging with this thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's one of the art forms that has the most freedom still. Has the most potential, whether or not it has much respect. It does not. It is probably the least respected artistic medium I've come across in terms of one where people actually pour a ton of heart and soul into. There are some that I respect far, far less than comics. But anyway, you folks take care. And yeah, love y'all.